Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, the implementation of the Common Civil Code or the Uniform Civil Code has been a long-standing manifesto promise of the BJP. Among two other commitments that the Jan Sangh, when it started out way back, had envisaged. The abrogation of Article 370, the building of a Ram Mandir, and of course, the Common Civil Code, which has not just been enshrined or deemed or envisioned within the tenets of our constitution, but time and again the courts of our country have also spoken about. Today, while addressing a rally in Bhopal, Prime Minister Narendra Modi making a fresh push for the Common Civil Code in the poll-bound year 23-24 and the build-up to Lok Sabha 2024. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that if one family cannot run on two laws, how can a nation? And highlighted the need for one nation, one common civil law, citing that even courts have advocated for a common civil code. Prime Minister Modi lashing out at the opposition parties for appeasement, calling them out for vote bank politics, and he also, for the first time perhaps done openly by a Prime Minister, spoke about the pichda among the Muslim community or the Muslimans, that is the Deshaj Muslims or the Pasmanda Muslims. Prime Minister highlighted that they were treated as untouchables, faced discrimination and were also neglected for many years. And before we highlight why this entire aspect of Pasmanda Muslims is important, here's a breakdown of what the Prime Minister had said earlier in the day. First, he said this nation is like one big family. He then went on to elaborate that one family cannot have different laws, especially civil laws. Even courts have called for a common civil code. Vote bank behind opposition to the Uniform Civil Code. Pasmanda Muslims have also been exploited. He went on to talk about Bhrashtachar. He talked about this entire guarantees and said that it's all laced or just an avenue for Bhrashtachar. But more importantly, he turned around and said that people have to realize that they should not be allowed to be swayed by narratives which are vested with or which are steeped in vested interests. The Prime Minister highlighting that even courts have time and again spoken in favor of a common civil code. Here's what the top court of our country, the Supreme Court, has said. Different judges, different benches, different times. The court during the Shah Bano case said, a common civil code will help the cause of national integration by removing disparate loyalties to law which have conflicting ideologies, hinting at personal laws of various religions and streams. Supreme Court in the Sarla Mudgal case said, where more than 80% of the citizens have already been brought under the codified personal law, there is no justification whatsoever to keep in abeyance anymore the introduction of a UCC for all citizens in India. In 2019, the Supreme Court said founders of the Constitution hoped and expected that the state shall endeavour to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territories of India. Till date, no action has been taken in this regard. Justice Prabha M. Singh of the Delhi High Court in 2021 said in modern Indian society, which is gradually becoming homogeneous, the traditional barriers of religion, community and caste are slowly dissipating. Uniform civil code should not remain a mere hope. While speaking about the plight of the most marginalised section of Indian Muslims, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said vote bank politics has spoiled the lives of Pasmanda Muslims and that nobody wants to talk about it. So who are Pasmanda Muslims and why do they matter so much? And will they prove to be a game changer in the 2024 elections? Pasmanda Muslims, now Pasmanda is a Persian word that means ones left behind, pichda. The term Pasmanda Muslims was first used in 1998 by Ali Anwar Ansari when he founded the Pasmanda Muslim Mahaz. The Pasmanda group has Dalit, backward and tribal groups in its wake or in its grouping, like Julahe, the Ansari, Kasai, the Qureshis, Dunia, the Mansuri, Fakir, the Alvis, Hajjam, the Salmani, and so on. Why do they matter? Pasmandas are estimated to make up about 80 to 85% of India's Muslims versus 15% of the Ashrafs, the elite. The number broadly tallies with the 1871 census that said only 19% of Muslims in India were upper caste while 81% were made up of lower castes. So casteism among Muslims in India is also prevalent and very, very rampant, ladies and gentlemen. So this entire caste conundrum, Prime Minister trying to bust that it exists or elitism exists only in one particular section of society. It is across the board among multiple religions and multiple communities. Around 103 Lok Sabha seats where Muslim voters influence the poll outcome. So, there is unfair representation of the 7,500 elected representatives from the 1st to the 14th Lok Sabha. 400 were Muslims. 340 of the 400 are from the upper caste, Ashrafs. So the so-called Brahminism among Hindus, what is being alleged and the narrative being pegged, have a look at this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is saying. The Ashrafs, upper caste community dominating the discourse, 340 of the 400, while they are only 15% of the total Muslim population in our country. Only 60%, only 60 Muslims from the Pasmanda background have been elected in the 14 Lok Sabhas. While Ashrafs would have 2.1% share in the country's population, their representation in the Lok Sabha was around 4.5%. On the other hand, the Pasmanda share in the population is around 11.4%, but they had a mere 0.8% representation in parliament. So where are these 103 Lok Sabha seats with Muslim domination or largely Muslim population over 20%? 35 of these seats are in Uttar Pradesh, 20 are in West Bengal, 9 are in Assam, 9 are in Bihar, 9 in Kerala, 6 in Jammu and Kashmir, 5 in Maharashtra, 2 in Telangana, 2 in Karnataka, 1 in Haryana, 1 in Madhya Pradesh, 1 in Jharkhand, and 1 in Uttarakhand, Delhi, Lakshadweep each. So that's the entire breakup. Uttarakhand, Delhi, and Lakshadweep. So this is where the entire spread of these 103 Lok Sabha seats is, and this is a critical number, ladies and gentlemen. So there is a poll consideration, but it's not the first time that Prime Minister spoke about Pasmanda Muslims. At several occasions, the BJP has reached out to the marginalised. April 2023, in the UP local body polls, party gave roughly 400 tickets to the Muslim community, and 90% of its Muslim candidates were from the Pasmandas. April 2023, BJP nominated Tariq Mansoor, the former Vice-Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University, a Pasmanda, to the Legislative Council. In January this year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked BJP leaders to meet Muslims. Leaders interacted with Pasmanda, Bohra and educated Muslims without expecting votes in return. In November last year, the BJP fielded 4 Pasmanda faces in the MCD elections. They were Saba Qazi, Shamina Raza, Shabnam Malik and Irfan Malik. The BJP organized a conference for the Pasmanda community in Uttar Pradesh's Rampur in November 2022. In March last year, Danish Ansari, a Pasmanda, was made a minister in the Yogi Adityanath cabinet.
कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के नाम पर ऐसे लोगों को भड़काने का काम हो रहा है। परिवार के एक सदस्य के लिए एक कानून हो, परिवार के दूसरे सदस्य के लिए दूसरा कानून हो, तो क्या वो घर चल पाएगा क्या? भारत के संविधान में भी नागरिकों के समान अधिकार की बात कही गई है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बार बार कहा है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट डंडा मारती है, कह रही है कॉमन सिविल कोड लाओ। ये वोट बैंक की राजनीति करने वालों ने हमारे जो पसमंदा मुसलमान भाई बहन हैं, उनका तो जीना भी मुश्किल करके रखा हुआ है। वो तो तबाह हो गए, उनको कोई फायदा नहीं मिला है। भाइयों बहनों, इस भेदभाव का नुकसान उनकी कई पीढ़ियों को भुगतना पड़ा।
Joining us now, Sardar R.P. Singh, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Waris Pathan of the AIMIM. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for joining us this evening on The Right Stand. My first question to you is, Waris Pathanji, let me ask you, the Prime Minister's comment saying that it is time for a common civil code. Would you agree that India is ready and it's high time we had a common code, civil code?
Prime Minister spoke about the UCC, he spoke about the Pasmanda Muslim, he also spoke about the triple talaq. But may I ask the Prime Minister, how can the UCC be implemented, Anand? Under the Hindu Undivided Family, they get the tax rebate. Will the Prime Minister abolish that? The Prime Minister said कि एक रूम में दो कानून नहीं रह सकते. So let me remind him, Article 29 of the Constitution is a fundamental right guaranteed. Nobody can take away that, but Prime Minister must learn the pluralism, the secularism of the country.
Right to practice.
The Hindu Undivided Family is costing to 3,000 plus. They are getting a rebate every year. What will they do with that? That is not applicable to the Muslims. In Muslims, there is a marriage. Marriage is a contract in the Muslims. As per the Hindu ritual, this is Janam Janam ka saath. And as per the Christians, this is I do. Now, why does he want to remove all these things? So we say he's only trying to benefit the Hindus at large, not the Muslims. And secondly, he's talking about the Pasmanda Muslim. What has been done for the betterment of the Muslim community? The finance minister in the recent budget have removed 40% of the minority budget from this. They have removed the reservation given to the Pasmanda Muslim. Their mosques have been attacked. They have been every day attacked on the name of cow. They have been attacked in the name of JSR. So what is he talking about the Muslims? What the Prime Minister in America also spoke about the religious sentiments, and there is no religious discrimination in our country. He spoke about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. May I ask him, just 2 days prior to when I am in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, two boys were mob lynched in the name of cow smuggling, just on the suspicion. One of them died. The other is battling for his life.
But the Prime Minister has also openly spoken about those who believe in Gundaism and lynching. He's spoken about lynching. Random acts cannot be broad brushed, saying that this is exactly what is happening across the country. The other part is, Waris Pathan, Article 29 is intended to protect the interests of minority groups. It provides any section of the citizens residing in India having distinct culture, language or script the right to conserve their culture, language and script. That's what it protects. It does not come into the realm of civil contracts. Marriage, death, birth, divorce and inheritance. These are the 5 aspects of civil contracts that a common civil code will talk about. I am asking you very clearly, if the Law Commission proposes, will you oppose or will you accept?
The Law Commission has said there is no need for the uniform civil code in our country. Why does he want to bring this issue now?
They said long back.
What brings him to make the triple talaq? Se Muslimanon ka humne bhala kiya, but there are certain people who wants to use. Let me tell you, the ground reality is something different, Anand. Today, the woman has a burden to show that it's imperative on her to prove that she was divorced. Law should have been made to see to it that the man who is divorcing the woman and going out by saying that should be held responsible. Why such kind of things are happening? But no, he made triple talaq. During the triple talaq issue also, he said that the Muslim women are my sisters.
Correct.
In the openly he said, now what happens to Bilkis Banu? Is she not a Muslim?
No, in the case of Bilkis Banu also, sir, you are again taking out single issues. That is a court decision to let them go and let them out. You can challenge it. You've got the legal process to challenge it. But in the case of instant triple talaq, was it not your party that came out and said that it should not be criminalized and that it is targeting Muslim men in the garb of protecting women? Today you are saying something else. Sardar R.P. Singh, please tell me, where do you stand on this? Is this common civil code once again an election gimmick, or are you going to do it ahead of the Lok Sabha 2024 elections?
First, Anand, I have a separate question. Who is the real minority in this country? They keep talking about minority. When we are 1.8%, 9% today. They are more than 15%, almost 15%. And they are, as per me, they are the largest second majority in the country.
Second largest majority.
That point aside, second largest majority, we are the real minority in the country. We Christians, Jains, we are the real minority in the country. But that point aside, he spoke about triple talaq. Has triple talaq been complete? Has been criminalized if you give a triple talaq through any mode or medium. But what about halala? What about 4 marriages? You spoke about the Hindu codes. You spoke about the what all has to be removed. That will be taken care. You send whatever your request or whatever your suggestions are. You can suggest to the Law Commission. We will also forward our point of view to the Law Commission. But all this doesn't apply to this new Uniform Civil Code, or the Law Commission mandate doesn't provide to, or doesn't disturb the practices of the religion. It only talks about what you said, the marriage, the adoption, the inheritance. These are the subjects.
Yeah.
And what's wrong in it?
Birth and death, adoption, marriage, inheritance, and divorce.
Tomorrow, if my son marry a Muslim woman, will she have a separate right, and my daughter will have a separate right? No, they should have same right as every.
So answer the question, RP Singh ji. That's what I'm trying to ask you. I'm asking you: is this a poll gimmick for 2024, or are you going to bring in a common civil code before Lok Sabha 2024?
This has been our commitment in our manifesto, and then surely we are moving forward on that. And the Law Commission has already seek people's suggestion on that, and then we are hopeful by the time period, the suggestions will come. The Law Commission will move forward on that, and then one of the sessions, probably the winter sessions, the bill should come in the Parliament also.
So you're hinting that you will show the intent by bringing in the bill in the winter session of Parliament, after which there is no formal session of Parliament. So whatever has to be done post Lok Sabha 2024. So that's how the BJP is going to play it. The other aspect, and I want to bring in the other aspect too. Common civil code is one aspect, but Waris Pathan, pichhda among Musalman. So this entire pichhda aspect is not limited to only one particular religion or one particular segment of society, and the biggest aspect is 11.4% out of the 14% odd Muslim population in our country are Pasmandas. Would you acknowledge and agree that there is open discrimination and there is open elitism among the Muslims in India, and the Pasmandas have been at the receiving end?
There are a particular category of people who are Pasmanda, they are backward, they have got the reservation, but Amit Shah said that if we come to power during the Karnataka election also, we will take away the reservation also. They don't want to give anything to them. Their mosques are being demolished, their houses are being bulldozed. They are against
once again you're...
So what is he talking about the Pasmanda?
No, but once again,
what is happening in the country?
Once again, you are digressing.
2 days back, man is reaching the name of just on a suspicion of cow smuggling.
No. Again, see, once again, you are trying to digress the issue and trying to say, I am asking you, 11.4% of the population, 0.8% representation. Is this true or not? Do you challenge the statistic or do you admit the statistic? That 340 out of the 400 Muslim electorate till date have been from the upper caste, the Ashrafs. The Pasmandas have only been used. They have never got anything.
There are other backward classes also on who had been given the chance to have the reservation. But the Prime Minister Mohit Shah wants to remove the reservation. Why not talk about that? They want to remove the reservation given on the basis of their economic and the social backwardness. There are committees report to suggest that they are backward socially and economically. Ranganatha Mishra committee report is there. So many committees have given the report on that basis. They have been given reservation. But Amit Shah wants to remove that reservation also. If the Prime Minister is seriously saying that he wants to see that the Muslims come forward, then the Mumbai High Court has said
no. The Pasmanda Muslims, sir, don't try and broad brush. Don't try and broad brush this now, sir. This entire elitism, this entire Ashraf versus Pasmanda, the entire elitism among the Muslim community in India has been called out by the Prime Minister. Don't broad brushes and immediately say Muslims. Say Pasmandas. Say, will you stand up for that is a question. Sardar RP Singh, is the government on the one hand saying taking away reservations from Muslim, on the other hand saying I champion the pichhda among Muslims?
Well, see, there is no way to give quota as per religion, as per the constitution, as per the Supreme Court orders also. So that's one point. But even then, if there are backward within the Muslims also who are not being taken care of the community, they should be taken care, or they should be given their due right within the community, and we are supporting them that they should get their due right, which is due within the community or within the all other preferences which the government gives to them. Why not?
No, the only argument, Sardar RP Singh, that is that you give reservation on the basis of haves and have-nots, and the have-nots are the economically backward. That includes anybody and everybody. Not on the basis of caste, but on the basis of economic ability. But I am asking you, this Pasmanda card, has it been played with an eye on these 103 Lok Sabha seats? Why talk about Pasmandas 9 years after being in power?
No, you're wrong. Prime Minister has been talking about Pasmanda Muslims almost now 2.5 years. and then ongoingly asking our party workers also to reach out to Pasmanda Muslims and ensure whatever government benefits can reach out to them, and then whatever government has allocated for people at large, they should be allocated to them also, and they should get their fair chance and fair share out of the policies of the government. That's the objective, because generally the advantages of whatever the government policies are taken by certain sect within the Muslims also. So it should go far, it should be far spread and should reach out to all within the Muslims also.
But in this case, Waris Pathan, I'm just going to ask you, Waris Pathan, will you openly accept tonight that there is discrimination, casteism among Muslims also? Beyond the firqas, this Ashraf versus Pasmanda exists?
Our law is clear. Our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said that 72 firqe honge. Islam ke andar Shia, Sunnis, Devbans, Ahle Hadith and everybody. But I am not a mufti or a Maulana or an Islamic scholar. I am a lawyer, I am a politician. And as a politician, what I feel and what I am seeing in the country, since the last 9 years the BJP has come to power, this thing has started. I tell you, Anand, clearly, the hatred which is spread in the country, which I don't think so will go on so early, is been spread by the BJP. For what? For few votes. They want to divide the country in the name of religion, and the Prime Minister started the election campaign. The 2024 election campaign has already been started today by the Prime Minister in Madhya Pradesh. When he speaks about the triple talaq, when he speaks about the UCC, when he speaks about the Pasmanda, so he wants to clear an atmosphere of polarization.
It's about hatred.
The simple question is, who's creating the atmosphere of polarization among the Muslim community itself? You represent a party that is supposed to stand up for the welfare of Muslims. Are you really representing 11.4% of the Muslim of the country's population who are Muslims, who are backward, who are pichda, who are Pasmandas, who have been denied their rights? That's the question that needs to be asked. I'll park it there.
Can I make a point? They should rename their party they should rename their party for forward Muslims only.
No, who are these forward Muslims? This is elitism, sir. Forward, backward. Once again, it's about economics.
You're right.
Here it is classist.
Right.
Here it is classist and casteist, where they say that no, you don't deserve.
Right.
No matter whether you're doing well in life or not, I'll still separate you and I'll still segregate you. So this casteism that is existing among Muslims stands openly exposed. Sardar RP Singh and Waris Pathan, thank you very much. I'm going to limit the conversation for tonight amongst the two gentlemen, because we'll make way and go straight across to the lady who's a policy analyst, who's been here on the right stand quite often. But tonight, let's ask Amna Begum Ansari. Are you happy tonight, Amna Begum Ansari? Because I remember the last time we spoke, you said, I wish the Prime Minister spoke openly about Pasmandas. He has done today.
Yeah, I cannot express in the simple word how happy and delightful I am today. And delightful not only because Prime Minister Modi has talked about the Pasmandas, also because he has talked about the UCC. And I have been speaking for both of the issue like for past decades. I have been writing through all the medium I can access to. So like I am on the cloud 9. However, still I'm skeptical because I want to see UCC getting implemented. So I'm waiting when government will make some move on the ground, practical move on it.
But Amna, एक बात बताइए, UCC में बताइए, why are you an advocate of UCC? How is it going to help? Because there is this whole thing, perception created, it's anti-Muslim. Then there is a perception created that it's going to protect more of Hindu interests. So a lot of things. Why are you an advocate of? Okay,
so I mean, I can tell you a lot of technicalities here, but I would like to talk like in a simple words. So I'm Amna Begum Ansari, right? I'm a Pasmanda Indian Muslim woman. I see there are more Indian girls like Savita, let's say Savita, it could be any Hindu girl, right? And I see how state act in a favor of those women interests, how state tries to protect them, at least by the legal framework. And I am the same Indian woman, and I deserve the same protection from the state. Why this step motherly treatment with me just because I am born as a Muslim? So basically, secularism fails when I get treated as a second-class citizen because in my Muslim hold, because I am a woman. So when I talk about the UCC, basically I am fighting for the every Indian Muslim women right to be treated like the way any women or Indian women should be treated. And it's not only about Indian Muslim women. I will say even about the Christian women, Jewish women, any women of India. They should be treated equally. They should be protected equally. And UCC can do that thing in one go. So why I won't be supporting it?
11.4% of the population, 0.8% representation. These numbers are stunning. 400 Muslim parliamentarians in 1 to 14 Lok Sabhas, 340 of them from Ashrafs, only about 60 from Pasmandas. Now, explain to our viewers this divide. Ye casteism among the Muslim community, is it true elitism, this differentiation, discrimination?
Exactly, it is true, and that's what I have been writing. I have written a lot of articles. If you will Google, you can find it. The Anwar Sahab, the first Pasmanda Muslim MP who started talking about this, he actually filed what it's called. He went into the basically statistic and got this information that we are 11% of the Indian population, and our representative has been in the parliament only around 0.8%.
8%.
And yeah 0.8%. And when I used to talk about this discrimination, the most argument will come that you are talking against Islam. How I am supposed to, how, I mean, this doesn't make any logical sense. The AIMIM member here, he was speaking that why BJP is not giving the reservation based on casteism and all those things, but they forget that Waris Sahab was the first who supported the fatwa against the caste-based reservation in Telangana, I guess.
Yes.
When government said that we will provide reservation based on the caste within the Muslim fold, because we already get that reservation in UP and other states. And the Waisi was one who said, no, we don't want that reservation based on the caste. So if they are very I don't know, if they are Masiha of Pasmanda Muslim, they should have not opposed it, right?
Correct.
I mean, according to them, BJP is an enemy of Muslims, so they will be doing this. But why they were doing it? So it says a lot. Like someone who talks about the Muslims, Muslims day and night, is who present himself to be a messiah, to be a speaker of the Muslim, does not want to talk about the Pasmanda Muslim. So this gives you insight how deeply ingrained this discrimination is.
Well, Amna Begum Ansari, I'm limited for time because we have Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu joining us, India Ambassador to the US, on the other side. But we will have a longer, larger discussion on this entire conversation.